I'll give you an example. I was driving home one night on Friday night, and I discovered something very interesting. I discovered that there are people who do drugs in this city for the first time. Honestly, I'll be honest with you. This guy was literally stopping instantly and reversing on the highway, on the speed lane. And there I was driving on 100 kilometers per hour. If you see the way I matched my brake, my brother, the tire condemned instantly.
Wow.
It was because of the ABS quality of the car that I survived it.
Thank God you are not driving a motor but a car. Otherwise, this would have been a different story.
And that was then. Now, when the car was in better shape.
You know, this is our problem. We like to abuse privilege, rights, and opportunities. You know, we complain of bad roads. Now we have good roads, and everybody is abusing these infrastructures. You need to see drivers on Abuja roads, especially the airport road. You need to see how people literally fly on the road. You start wondering, where are these guys going to? And a twinkle of a blink, you see them in those gutters, and you start imagining, this guy just passed me with all the speed in the world, and look at him now, already cooling off. People rushing to help him out. So why do you have to rush to your death? Why do you have to rush to destruction? Because there are valuable, you know, Lagos drivers will laugh, Lagos people will laugh at us that it's not your fault because you have free road. That's why you're driving anyhow.
Like the other man says, car with an engine. You know, but interestingly, you know, we have the best roads in terms of network of roads in Nigeria. What do you think is responsible for this on honest grounds? Because the example I gave you, I saw the guy's eyes when I dropped to address him. His eyes were practically white. I couldn't see the dark ball in his eyes, the pupil. So obviously he must have taken something. He was not himself, you know. And we tried to reach the police contact number at the time. That's the emergency number. Just to call them, and you know those lines are quite effective, right? So we contacted them, and immediately they sent a team.
Oh, beautiful.
Yes.
Like
That's
in the movies. That's interesting.
But what exactly could be the reason behind this?
Just like she said, alcohol could play a major role, and just like you said, abuse of drugs will also play a huge role. Then one personal carelessness, and you know, sometimes the madness on the road can actually be attributed. And again, depression also can actually play a huge role in road accidents, especially on Abuja road. You think we're all right, we're all fine. Deep within us, we're carrying burden, you know, school fees, you know, marital issues, you know, work issues, unemployment issues of unrest and co. So you're so occupied with so many thoughts that you almost forget that you're on the road. So when you put all this together, they can actually, you know, count for why we have more accidents.
And then again, people now abuse use of mobile phones. You know, someone is on phone and they're making calls.
Yes. People test, you know, chat, you know, on while driving.
When you say people, that includes you and I.
Yeah, we all
let us be honest.
People, I'm also a person. So we are guilty of it. You know, we drive and there's this temptation like, oh, let me see the update on my Facebook, let me see the update on my Instagram. You know, an accident takes split seconds, you know, to happen. Before you know, you're already in the dish. You know,
and I must tell you, I've learned from examples in my own life that truly, when the federal road safety says do not use your phones, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. Because what happened to me once was I was in a hold-up, a go-slow, and I thought that it was safe. So I picked up my phone to answer a call because I was trying to meet up with a demand from a client at the time. And what happened was I didn't know that the guy in front of me had already moved ahead. And while I was moving slowly, he now stopped without me seeing. So I just drove into his car, and my car suffered because his car had one ion like that from behind, and my car just dented in a way that you would think I hit an elephant, you know. But the lesson, yes, by the time I spent money to fix the car, it was as if I spent all my salary on fixing the car. But the thing is, I learned a valuable lesson that no matter how many years you've been driving, there's no such thing as being a driving expert. Even the likes of Schumacher are not seen to be expressly the best professionals, because anything can happen at any time, you know. So
just a split second.
I totally have had to condemn, you know, the use of phones while driving. Another thing is the issue of driving when you're angry. I think you mentioned that, Harry Spice. That is a very key area. Many people are deeply disturbed with the economic situation, and that has been taken into their homes, which has led to a lot of pressure on some families. In Lagos, in my former workplace, somebody was telling me about an experience one day when he was going to work. 3 people were killed on the spot because a woman had a fight with her husband, and she got angry, picked up the car keys and drove out. And just moving to the junction, the T junction, she didn't look left, look right. She just drove in anger, all thinking she was, you know, reacting to her husband so he could understand how angry she was, and she killed 3 people. This has also happened with so many other cases of deaths on Nigerian roads. But what is your take generally?
Yeah, okay.
For me, I think people should adhere to safety rules on the road. Like you rightly said, it could just have been anybody. But on the issue of anger, you know, that is one thing that it takes a lot of grace to be able to control yourself when you're angry. People can at least try to reduce driving at that particular time. If you know you are stressed out, it can just be anything. If you know you are stressed out, why not tell a friend to drive you home? If you know you want to drink, why not know your limits? Why not know what you
shouldn't even drink and drive?
Yeah, exactly. Why don't you? You know what your head will be able to carry? Why endanger your life and those of others? Because it's not just about you. If you want to commit suicide, I mean, why I would not advise anybody to commit suicide.
The law does not even allow you to commit
exactly,
suicide.
But don't also endanger the lives of others.
Harry Spice.
Yeah, just like she said, if you must drive, don't drink. If you must drink, don't drive. And if you're not in a stable emotional state, please don't hit the road. You know, keep your depression, keep your anger at home. Pick up a Bible, pick up a Quran and read, and actually address your anger or your mood at that time before hitting the road. When you hit the road and you cause accident, you're adding, you know, burden to the system, the hospitals, you know, the human lives are involved here, and so on and so forth. So we must be in the right frame of mind before hitting the road.
And that brings us also to being our brothers, to the issue of being our brother's keeper. You know, try to know how you talk to the person next to you, because you might just be endangering the person's life, not just on the road, even at the offices. When you describe someone as an idiot, the person might just start behaving like one. You know, I don't know how to put it, but in our in our everyday relationship with people, I think we should really try to consider how our words will make them feel, because sometimes people just behave in a certain way as a result of what others say to them, and and all that. And then again, we also have to look at for one another. Like if you have a friend, you notice that the person is angry at the moment and the person wants to hit the road, I think it's your duty as a friend to tell the person, no, I'm not sure you are in the right state of mind to hit the road now. Let me take you to where you are going to, or maybe let's just see how we'll calm things down before you move.
Okay, so because Harry Spice, you mentioned, pick up your Quran, your Bible, and read and all of that. Some people don't have religions, right?
Yeah.
So pick up maybe music or something.
Yeah, play your music.
There are some
talk
kind
to
of
someone.
Don't go. There are some hard raps.
Not
if you listen to that, you drive on top of a bridge.
No.
And,
you even think you are
or rock. So recommended music. Get a cool music that will calm you down. A therapeutic kind of music. If it's gospel, if it is any other song that you think, a classical song, songs like the songs of Enya, Clue. I mean, you may not like it, but it calms you down, sort of.
Cool.
But let's take a look at the abusive nature of driving in Abuja. Have you noticed that when you go down the bridge and you're taking that twist to go under and move to another road? I don't know if you understand me. If you're coming from Wuse,
Beggar.
no, let's use the example of. No, let's use the example of Wuse Market Bridge towards Gwarimpa.
Okay.
You know the other bridge that you meet that will take you to Wuse Banex.
Okay, yeah.
That particular one. If you want to come down the bridge, there's this twist. I don't know what name they refer to it.
Yes.
You go down
It's the one they call sharp corner.
There's something funny that often happens there. Some people will be on the speed lane. The moment they get there, they now suddenly, I don't know whether it's consciously or unconsciously, they now realize that they need to go under the bridge. Then they will drive from the speed lane to the diversion.
Yes,
I mean, is that normal?
Yeah, it's actually not normal.
Or is it that it is a borrowed kind of technology that we're not used to, so we abuse it?
That is why the road safety, ought to assess your level of road understanding before issuing you license. Ordinarily you're supposed to be taking on a tour. It could be a classroom or virtual lesson where how you negotiate, how you navigate, how you use the road generally. So the one you're talking about is not just peculiar to that place, it's everywhere in Abuja. In fact, people hardly wait for you to make a turn. Or for instance, if you're supposed to negotiate a turn back to where you're going and you see guys coming, you hardly see, nobody want to stop for you. As if it's a crime for you to reverse or to take a turn, a left or right turn on Abuja roads. People don't permit that. I don't know why it happens.
And God help you, you try to talk to the person, you will receive 500.
You be insulted. Everybody seems to be in a hurry.
Yes.
I kind of wonder, where are we going to? The white man that made the cars had made provision for
safety regulations and all that.
You can actually turn, you can reverse. So I'm trying to make a turn and you are angry that I'm turning. I mustn't be on your same lane. I mustn't be on your. We're not going the same way, And now it boils down to issue of respecting ourselves. We talked about hate speech. That is hate speech. You try
hate speech and hate acts.
Yes, you try stopping me from using the road because you also want to use the road.
Selfishness.
It does mean selfish, and when you're selfish, you're being hateful.
Now,
they'll tell you that no wonder now woman.
I think, like you rightly said, we're always in a hurry, and then I don't even know where we are always hurrying to. I don't know why we don't seem to understand that it's always better we are late to wherever we are going to than late, like dead on the road. And again too, for me, I've told someone once that I don't know my right of way when I'm on the road.
So we need to send you back to.
No. I'm not. I don't mean now that I don't know it. What I mean now is that whether I'm the right person to go first before you, I also, even when the traffic says go, I also look again because I just pretend I know it. It's not as if I don't know it now, but I act like if I know it, the other person might know it too, and just pretend like it doesn't know. Like, you may have noticed that weekends on Abuja roads that people don't obey traffic lights. So if I'm the cool-headed one that wants to obey traffic, that does not mean that if the traffic lights say I should go, I will go. I will still look around to ensure that there is no, you know, understand.
Some
so
benefit of
we should
that.
also watch out. For
Okay,
these
so
things
my friend was telling me a gist about a situation that happened. Now this is leading us to whether people know the right of use of the federal and state roads and local roads as well or not, and those markings on the roads. So somebody hit someone else's car and it was taken to the alkali. You know, the alkali is like the judge sort of, and in a traditional community, and the question was put across to the two of them. They said, why did you hit his car? He said, the man did not trafficate, so I didn't know he was going to enter the junction. They now asked the man who said he trafficated, how did you trafficate? He said he put his hand through the window and he did like he was waving, you know, to indicate that he was taking left. The judge now looked at the man that hit the car and said, you see, you're at fault. He trafficated with his hand. I have to tell you that.
Let me tell you one funny one that I witnessed once. I was coming back from somewhere, and then I saw two cars. I think one hit the other. So me, that I was driving past, I was already blaming one because I saw the learner sign. I was not like, this person should know, and they are both cars are very new. Not like this person should know that you don't learn with a new car now, you know. But then the other person should understand that this person is just a learner now. On a closer look, I now noticed that both of them are even learners. I was not like,
in Abuja,
two learner colleagues on the road.
Exactly.
But the thing is, again, some people use the learner stuff just to prevent any intentional attempts at scratching their cars as well. But let's look at the issue of age.
Okay.
When we were younger, the mentality was that younger persons, especially below 21 and 18 or thereabout, should not be allowed to drive because they are childish on the road. What we have seen these days is that the older generation seem to be more at fault on the highways. When you look through your window and you see the person flaunting the traffic, it is an older person with gray hair. Am I the only person that is noticing this? Because I've seen that 90% of people who are breaking traffic rules or driving carelessly or in this city are people that are older than myself.
Yeah, now we have to talk about breaking values. Our value system has actually broken down to the lowest ebb. Both the old and the young seems not to be defined by values. That is why, for anyone that breaks the rule, it's not normal. That means you don't have value. This is a studio now. What I'm not supposed to say, I begin to say them. That means I don't have value for this studio. Or I don't know my worth as a person. So when you hit the road and you're misbehaving, you're doing what is not lawful, that means you don't have a value. So it has nothing to do with age. It's just our value system that is being eroded.
Okay, so moving on. All animals are equal, but obviously in Abuja we have some animals that are, talking metaphorically now,
yes,
that are better than others. When you go to certain parts of Abuja, the traffic lights are intact, but nobody obeys them.
Yes, especially security agencies.
Very good.
Yes.
But apart from that, in places like Asokoro, those lights are almost useless. I didn't know that until I discovered that for so many times I've had to go to one place or the other, I was the only one waiting for lights to pass. With the same set of cars that we drove from police headquarters, and we all respected the lights. Once they got there, nobody, until I asked a resident, and he says, in this part, we don't respect traffic lights. And honestly, I now discovered that there was hardly any traffic officer in Asokoro, especially the other wing of Asokoro, that area, the side where you have the ECOWAS headquarters and all of that, not this part of Asokoro. What could be the reason?
It still boils down to issue of value. You know, there are no enforcement on that around that area. Nobody actually enforces law, and besides, you have the so-called VIPs living in that place. And who drives the VIPs? Sometimes security agencies. As they come, they blare, coming with their siren, poo, and they use the road. You know, they abuse traffic, and nobody will actually stop them. While growing up in our civic class, we were taught that only ambulances, fire brigade vehicles are actually allowed to use siren. But today, everybody is using siren. I had to challenge a police officer on this Apo road 3 days ago. From nowhere, we're in traffic, and the guy was like, "Papa, playing his siren." I stopped him, and they rushed down. I also rushed out. Why are you doing this? Can't you see we are driving? I say we are all driving. This traffic is moving. Where are you rushing to? Just tell me where you're rushing to. Then the guy started laughing. I believe this guy made it go. Until we begin to, we start to challenge this kind of wrong, manifestation. This will continue. We must learn to obey rules, whether there are policemen guiding the traffic lights or not. These things are actually put there for us to use. When you obey traffic rules, you reduce incidents of accidents. Lives are safe, government properties are protected, but when you abuse them, we get things destroyed, we get human beings injured, or accidents occur.
Okay,
that is a very good one, but I mean that could have also brought problem to another person, maybe if they try to do that. And because I want to believe that the particular police person that you encountered that day maybe is not the very harsh type. I don't know if that would be the right
learn
thing
to challenge the status quo.
I also don't know, maybe
our lives.
Yeah, of course, I understand your point, but I also don't know if every other police person will learn to at least behave like that very gentle policeman that you encountered.
They're not
that
gentle.
day.
We allow things to happen, then it becomes a norm. When we begin to challenge what is wrong, governance is not just by those elected. We citizens are also government. When we begin to ensure implementation of things, of the basic things in our country, things will stop. For instance, you dare not allow anything to happen in your house. Somebody cannot come and dump things in your house, like refuse in your house. You will not allow that. You have to call the police to stop the person. It's the same thing with things that happen around us, maybe it on the road. If I rarely move from the road when I see this guy, whether except perhaps it's the president or the governor or the minister, who are okay, maybe they have the right of way. But when I see people blaring their siren unnecessarily, I don't move. You can come and you can brush my car or move me out of the way, but I will not move. You have to follow. It's just like abusing queue in public places like the bank or the hospital. People are lined up or I queue up from nowhere. I will never allow it. I'll do it. I won't be confrontational, but I'll do it with respect.
This question is directly to Olive. What is it with some women and the mentality of, is it because I am a woman? I don't know if Harry Spice has heard that before.
It's an everyday thing. In this
each time there's, when you have that altercation with a man, it's different. But with women, there's always this phrase that reoccurs. Is it because I'm a woman? Then you also have the factor of, do you know who my husband is? Do you know who my husband is? Which led to my friend being slapped by a woman once at area 11. And when the husband came, she started crying. So the husband now walked up to him and said, "Oga, anytime my wife cries, she's always at fault. Please, just." So what is the problem? What is the situation? Is
I
it
think
common?
that's a very wrong one. The example you gave. You don't abuse another person's. You don't abuse another person because of who your husband is or who you think your husband is. But on the issue which you mentioned, I think that is because a lot of people just see it, just maybe treats most women, like, you should, I'm a man, I should get the respect from you or something. So they tend to make women now feel like, okay, because I'm a woman, society expects me to first respect the man, or maybe even the man is at fault, society expects me not to say anything. You understand? Maybe that is the mentality behind it. But that is not to say that when most of these things happen, that the woman is usually right, or maybe that the man is also always right in all that.
Yeah. So we also encourage men that when you see a woman doing that, do not go and retaliate or try to.
The woman should also not even abuse the man.
Yes, we condemn that as well.
Respect is reciprocal. It is expected that whether you're a man or a woman, we should respect every human being, regardless of your sex. And again, in this part of the world, we tend to use emotional blackmail, to drive home our point, which is very, very sad. I had an encounter last week somewhere around Gariki village. I went to see a friend. Then in front of shops, there are designated places where you could actually park. So I saw a big sign, do not park here. I was wondering, what if I don't park here? That means I have to park on the road. So what I did was I stepped out of the car, moved the sign away so that I could drive in. Then from nowhere, a woman walked out from her shop. That, okay, why did you remove this? Don't you know this is my shop? I say, yes, I know it's your shop, but this place, it's where I'm supposed to park so that I can patronize you. She said, no, you're not coming to my shop. I know. I said, let's assume I'm coming to your shop. She said, no, I should have asked her. I said, I can't ask you when I'm parked on the road. I'm already on the road obstructing traffic. So I needed to move. That's why I had to move this, your sign. Now, from nowhere, a man came out from his car. Now, okay, don't you know she's a woman? Why are you talking to her like that? If she's your wife, will you be talking to her this way? I'm like, okay, this person I'm talking to is a human being like me. Allow us to talk. Stop bringing issues here. Then the woman started laughing. You could see how the man was trying to reverse the whole issue. Talking to somebody. He said, why are you talking to her? Like, don't you know she's a woman? What is wrong in being a woman? So because she's a woman, we shouldn't talk to her.
So he is the one that is now underrating her personality.
He didn't know what the impact of that his statement. That don't you know she's a woman? I said, a woman shouldn't be talked to. I'm explaining things to her.
Anyway, let's hear from our callers. You can call us up on 0818 9991011. I think I didn't take it the normal way. 081 89 991011. Let's hear from you and your contribution about our topic for today. We're talking about accidents and the reactions of Nigerians on Abuja highways and what we should try to avoid. We talked about the need for us not to drink and drive. We also talked about the need for us not to abuse while driving. Let's concentrate and drive. Hello.
Yeah, my name is Monday.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
Go ahead.
My occupation is I'm not to feel now. I'm not that woman and that man that is back in metro. This happened to me this month.
We lost him.
We lost that call. Feel free to call us up and make your contributions on the show. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Am I on to Human Rights Radio?
Yes, you are.
This program is a very nice one. In fact, I'm enjoying it.
Thank you very much.
And I must tell you the factors that contribute to road accidents, the using of phone, social media inside the car. These are the things. And I am contributing that let the road play a court of law that is handling this thing. Anybody that is found using phone while driving, at least it will minimize accidents in our way.
Yes, I couldn't agree with you.
Secondly, another one is bad roads. Like our eastern region, we don't have good roads. I don't know if I believe that in the House of Assembly, there are people that oversight functions on roads and maintenance. Those people to work, like the people I saw 2 days ago in the National Assembly, oversighting functions on basic education. They were going constituency to constituency. So the people in the charge of roads, they should do like that as well.
Okay.
My name, I'm sorry I didn't tell you my name. I am Mother Abuchi, not calling from Apoli.
Okay, thank you so much, Mother Abuchi.
Please, I have a complaint. Now, sorry sir, this INEC registration voter card.
Yes.
Please, two people should talk to the INEC. Let them bring more centers so that we can register. I don't have voter card, and they made it mandatory that somebody will go to reattend. Even if you go to reattend, 2 days they cannot be able to capture you. Please let them make it easy for the rural people, for the people living in the rural area.
Okay.
Have a nice day. God bless.
Thank you, Mother Abuchi. Contribution very straight to the point. We'll take a very quick break, and when we come back, we will be taking a look at something quite interesting: nannies and working mothers. How do they battle and find a way out of that? We'll be back. It's Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM.
Your right, my right, our right. Everybody's right is protected. Human Rights Radio 101.1, redefining broadcasting. X-ray. 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 This is Human Rights Radio 101.1, redefining broadcasting.
It is Leka, Polcratudinous, Splendiforous, and Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious to be here. Before I explode from the grandiloquence and the circumambiguous magniloquence of my academic and intellectual reservoir, let me say, life is fluxinausinihilipilificating without human rights. And life is honorificabilitudinitatibus when you know your fundamental human rights. I am the man with the taxonomic nomenclature appellation, Father the Grammarian. I am here in Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM Abuja. My people, wetin I try talk be say, it good make we know our human rights and make we respect them. Now me be Father the Grammarian at the Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM Abuja. No change the dialogue.
Welcome back to Human Rights Radio 101.